The Green Party defines it as organizing means engaging with society, doing, not just thinking or talking. Um, there's a little disconnect there between the Green Party's organizing manual and their strategic plan, which is mainly an advocacy strategy. But um, that's exactly right. Right, that organizing is about doing, and we're going to have a definition of organizing that takes it further that I think is really accurate. But you know, it's a step up from just saying you support something or advocating for something. It's organizing to get change to happen. Lee Staples said organizing is a bottom-up philosophical approach to social change, not simply a method to achieve it. I think that's an appropriate quote from Staples because we're going to have some of Staples' work in here, but Staples' work is not necessarily oriented towards the kind of organizing that we're talking about it all the time. So, that's an appropriate quote from him because we're going to kind of be advocating, picking and choosing from him. And then Abby Hoffman, the key to organizing an alternative society is to organize people about what they can do and, more importantly, what they want to do. And I think that's a really important one. If people aren't passionate about the work they're doing, you're not going to get commitment out of people. You're not going to get reliability out of people. It's one of the problems I think a lot of Greens and other organizations have with kind of volunteer engagement, which isn't even organizing, it's like mobilizing. But when people sign up to volunteer, they're often funneled into things that may be needed within the organization, but that aren't anything they want to work on. And that then leads, to a volunteer that doesn't get engaged. You have anything, Garrett, before we jump?
Yeah, I think these 4 quotes are, when you look at them all together, they paint a really good picture of an organizing mindset. That first we have to be radical. First we have to have a radical vision of where we want to go. And that was, again, what we talked about in Green Party 101 and Eco-Socialism 101. That's the vision we want to put forward of the kind of society that we want to live in, where everyone's economic needs are met, where we're living in harmony with nature, we're living sustainable lives, all that stuff. You have to have that vision and be radical enough to say, we can do it and we're going to organize for it. And then once we've made that decision, we have to have the mindset that we're going to do things and not just talk about eco-socialism forever, but actually do things and think about how to actually link our work toward that vision of the future. It's got to come from a place of our values. So I think that's the kind of the value here of the philosophical quote, right? It has to be informed by our green values in order to actually be effective organizing for the direction that we want to go in, or because otherwise you run the risk of actually organizing against what you're trying to promote. And this happens a lot, for example, in the Democratic Party, where very progressive people want to see change happen, but then they put all their energy and money and time and things into actually growing the Democratic Party that fights their interests. So, we have to start from kind of first principles. And then, of course, last but not least there, organizing has to be around what we want to do. It has to be what we want society to be, and also has to be something that is fun for us. I think we'll kind of revisit that, but it has to be something that empowers us and makes us feel like keep going. You're not doing organizing correctly, in my opinion, if you feel like it's a burden all the time, right? Because you're just going to burn yourself out. You're not going to win the goals that you're actually set out to win. So I think these quotes together are really painting a broad picture of what organizing should look like for Green Socialists. And of course, we'll get more into details here, but kind of think of these 4 all together, I think, as we go through the next slides.